Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video, and today what I want to talk about is my 7 top tips for beginner drummers. I've been teaching for quite a number of years now, and it's actually my main source of income, and I've definitely taught my fair share of beginners, and I've been thinking lately, what's the common thing that a lot of beginners ask me or have trouble with? So I thought I'd compile my 7 top tips to help beginner drummers become stronger players quicker. And to me this is almost like a retrospective type video, because it's the kind of things that I would have wanted to know when I was beginning to learn the drums. So these are in no particular order, I'll just say them as I wrote them, and feel free to leave me any questions if you want to learn a little bit more about them. So tip number 1 is get comfortable playing with a metronome. A metronome is a tool used by drummers to help them with consistent timing, to help them understand beat placement, or just internalize certain rhythms. So for me, getting students to understand the metronome from an early age, or at least early beginning lessons, is to actually say, look, these patterns can be played to a metronome, here's how they fall, and here's how they can make you a stronger player. As you progress with your drumming, you'll understand that a metronome has implications in the studio, or for live shows, so it's really great to have at least an understanding of how a metronome fits with the patterns you're learning. And I'll tell you that 9 times out of 10, a metronome is appropriate for the pattern you are learning. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is get strong at sight reading. The first thing I do when I teach new people is actually tell them how to sight read music and rhythm in general. Rhythm is a universal property to reading. So if you're a pianist, then rhythm is important, or if you're a guitarist, then rhythm is important. But for drummers, that's all we have to care about when we're sight reading music. So my second biggest tip is to just get really comfortable with sight reading, or at least some basics of sight reading. Other reasons why this is useful is, for instance, when I'm teaching a student, they're only with me for say an hour or half an hour a week, and I want to know that they've gone home and practiced what I've given them to learn. So if they can sight read it, then they've got a pretty good chance of being able to practice effectively at home. So that's tip number 2, get strong at sight reading. My third tip, and there is a PDF example to go with this, is get really strong at a linear lick. Linear lick, you're probably wondering what one of those is if you're new to the drums, so I'll explain it as briefly as I can. The drum kit is made up of multiple voices, so snare drums, bass drums, tom-toms, they're all individual voices, so to speak. And playing a linear lick is where you only strike one voice at one moment in time. So for instance, if you look at the example which is on the screen now, we're playing 16 individual hits in this particular bar, so you've got 16 opportunities to play something, and you're only allowed to play one part of the kit per slot. So for instance, if you look at this lick, it's just between snare and bass drum, it's right left foot, left right foot, right left foot foot, right left foot, left right foot. And that's all grouped in a particular way. It's a 3, a 3, a 4, and then a 3 and a 3. And when I give this to my new students, they always find it's really sticky to play, and they can't get their limbs to react as fast as they want to. So learning a linear lick, even if it's just one, will help unlock some coordination potential and help you trigger your limbs a little quicker. Even if it's just both hands and your right foot, or if you happen to be a left-handed drummer, then it would be your left foot on the bass drum. Just get really strong at this and just learn to play it extremely well. And when it does feel good, then you can start to play it in context, very much like this audio sample. So you can hear there that it forms a really cool fill-in and just allows your body to breathe. So learn a linear lick, that's tip number 3. Number 4 is concerning practice time, and it's to create something called default time. Now for me, default time helps me practice because in essence default time is time in my diary, in amongst a busy week, time in my diary that I know is for me to practice, or for me to make a video, or for me to do something that's productive. So creating default time is an excellent way of saying to yourself, I've saved this slot in this particular part of the day or the week, and I'm going to practice. Because lo and behold, a lot of my beginner drummers don't practice as much as they should or could. So create default time, that's my tip number 4, because it just helps you get regular practice in, which is important in your early years. Tip number 5, it also links to practicing, and that's to learn how to practice slowly. It won't allow you to practice, like playing slow won't unlock every single groove that someone will ask you to play or you try and play yourself, but 9 times out of 10, practicing slowly will help you build how the body reacts to drumming, or how the brain works with your hands and how coordination works. So practicing things slow can be incredibly useful, and I must admit many of my beginner students begin playing the rhythm too fast and just smearing it and messing it up and tripping themselves up, and they're essentially shooting themselves in the foot. So if you can learn to practice slowly and calmly and build it up from there, then I guarantee that you'll actually be playing faster tempos a lot sooner than you thought you would. So that's tip number 5, learn to practice slowly. Tip number 6, and this concerns rudiments. For beginners, you may not know what a rudiment is. It's basically a pattern that you play with your hands, or I'm being very general here, a pattern that you play with your hands. So you could either use a right hand, a left hand, both hands together, or actually pause. That technically makes up a pattern. So the 3 rudiments that I always tease my new students with is to learn how to blend singles, doubles and paradiddles. If you're not sure what they are, then it's going to come up on the screen. A quick 3-bar example where you play single strokes, double strokes and then a paradiddle. And the idea is that if you are blindfolded and just listening to this rhythm, then it sounds exactly the same. You've got 16 consistent hits per bar. But for the body and the mind, the bar is changing each bar. So you start off with singles, right, left, and then you seamlessly blend into double strokes, right, left, and then you end up doing the paradiddle, which is right, left, left. And the idea is that they just become really seamless. Now, why is that my tip number 6? It's because rudiments will open up new pathways and new movements, new directions around the kit that will just help you with your creativity a bit further down the line. I have a couple of students who get good at these rudiments and then find that doing grades later on become easy, or doing slightly twisted or hybrid rudiments become easy as well because they're used to doing singles and double strokes with their hands. So it will actually allow you to build hand speed and hand dexterity a lot quicker. So definitely download that little example and just try and make it ritualistic. Try and do it every day and just see how you get on after a couple of months. And finally, tip number 7. I told you they're in no particular order, but tip number 7 is find a good teacher, because a good teacher can help you with all of the other 6 tips that I've given you today. A great teacher will help you open up your horizons in your drum world. If you're really passionate to get better quicker, then I don't see why a teacher couldn't help you. Teachers also offer you new genres of music that you may have not listened to. They'll offer you different exercises that you could have never found yourself. They'll be someone that you can be held accountable to. If you feel that you want to practice for a certain cause, then practicing knowing that you're going to show it to your teacher is a great way to inspire yourself. And of course it just gives you someone to talk about when it comes to discussing drums, brands, latest news in the drum world, books, videos. It just gives you someone to hang out with and get caught up in what is actually a really wicked community, which is the drum community. So they're my 7 tips. Hopefully you'll see that they are very valuable. If you feel like I've missed any out or disagree with them, then definitely leave some comments below. But this is probably what I would tell myself if I was starting again. These are the 7 things that I would try and target ASAP and get comfortable with. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Definitely leave any comments if you agree or disagree, and I'll try and answer back to you. And also follow me on all the social media and just come and hang out sometime. Cheers guys.